Hey everyone, welcome to iConversations. Today we are joined by the legendary agent Bjorn Kunzel coming to us from South Australia. We'll get Bjorn to tell us a little bit about his real estate career in just a moment. For those of you that are here live, just sit back, relax. You might want to have a pen and paper to take some notes. For those of you that are watching the replay, we hope you've had a fantastic week, and you'll really take some great nuggets out of what Bjorn shares. This information he's going to share today has been so life-changing to so many agents, particularly in South Australia, but those that have been watching the recordings or watching live have been able to take the information and actually really enhance their business and their conversion rate to get more listings and more sales. So Bjorn Kunzel, welcome to iConversations.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having us. It's been a while since we've done one of these, a
It,
few
it,
months. It's
it
good to
has
be
been,
back.
right? It has been. But Bjorn, for those that don't know you, just tell us a little bit how long you've been in real estate, where you're selling, those kind of things.
Yes, I'm coming up to my 16th year in real estate.
Yeah, hold on.
Just put our beer there on mute.
Yeah.
So coming up to my 16th year in real estate, I work in the northeastern suburbs of Adelaide, South Australia. Always have. I've lived in the same area for 45 years. I basically live 2 minutes away from where I grew up, and this has been my little patch. So sort of northeastern, Golden Grove, Greenwith, near the foothills. I live in the patch in which I work as well.
So is that a requirement to be successful? You gotta sell houses where you were born? Is that?
I think it helps.
Oh,
I
it's
think it helps
definitely
when
it
you're selling
definitely
in an
helps.
area. I
It
mean, in
definitely
my
helps.
area, I live in the area. I've got 3 investment properties in the area, so I think it gives me a good story when I'm having conversations. But it's not a necessity, of course.
No, because you work really hard. I know that as well.
So I joined EXP. I think I was agent number 13 in EXP. And this little strategy is something that I come up with myself. I don't think I really heard it from anyone else. I learned it in drama school. When I wanted to be an actor, before I wanted to be a rapper, before I became a real estate agent. So I think I found the right job
Yeah.
out of those three. But this was if you're going to take on the role of somebody else, it's the 5 Ws, and it's just a very simple way of getting straight to the guts of a situation, finding out a little bit more about your person that's in front of you, so that you can address their needs and concerns rather than rattling off about stuff that they're not interested in. So it just gives you a real straight line, real direct lining of conversation. And I know that a lot of the team that have come in, this is what I harp on about. This is basically my little golden nugget. And a lot of the team have adapted their appraisal procedure and just the way they have discussions with prospective clients, whether it's buyers, sellers, investors, to work around this structure. And it's changed their business and transformed their business because it's a really good way of creating a connection with somebody really fast to build trust, competency, and obviously likability. So that's
And if
what it
I
is.
can make a comment there, Bjorn, just in praise of what you're about to teach, I think there's a couple of different schools in real estate. One, it's about look at me, I'm an amazing agent. Go into an appraisal. We're number one. I'm number one. I'm this. I'm that. I'm whatever. Da da da. And with your strategy, you've flipped that on the head, and it's all completely client focused. And I think that's why you're selling 40, 50, 60, 70 properties a year, because you're dialed in and you get to the truth of what's at stake. So back to
Yeah.
you, mate.
With that success, I let social media speak my success, video testimonials from clients that are happy, because there's no point me telling a story about a result, but if a client's telling a story about the result, or I'm there with the client and they're praising me, it's third party endorsement. So when I'm sitting in front of a lounge room trying to endorse myself, they don't care. They're not listening to this. I just sound like some arrogant guy. But when third party is endorsing in the background on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, places like that, where, let's face it, this is the new age drug, the mobile phone, and everybody's on there on Facebook, Instagram, one of the socials, dozens of times a day, which is not necessarily a good thing for our human spirit and our human soul, but it's the way of the world. It is what it is. So I let all of that bragging stuff happen in the background with stories about what's been happening there. And when I go into the client's house, this is all I do. I don't bring any reports. I don't bring any marketing. I don't bring any paperwork. I don't bring any flashy flyers. I don't bring anything other than a conversation. Because after all, what do you do with your friends? You have conversations with your friends. You converse with your friends. You find out about what's going on in their life, and you do it genuinely, which is why they're your friends. So why do we go and present at people in the home when our goal is for them to like us, trust us, and understand our competency, because nobody likes to be presented at. I think people like to be part of and involved in whatever's going on. So if I'm going to share my screen, I've got nothing really flashy to share, but I'll just put the 5 Ws up here so people can see it. If you can just give me that.
Yep, you should be able to do it
permission.
now.
So this is all it is. You can see that on the screen there. It's very, very basic. The 5 Ws are simply who, what, when, where, and why. And this is the most basic of trainings. So don't expect to be taking a million notes, guys. And don't expect me to give you 75,000 tasks either. This is so simple. Who are you dealing with? What are they wanting to do? When are they wanting to do what they want to do? Where are they looking at going to? And why are they even looking at making any sort of move in the first place? And it's as simple as you can walk into a lounge room and you can say, look, guys, before we walk around, is it okay if we have a sit down so I can find out a little bit more about who you are, what you're planning on doing, when you're thinking about doing it, where you're actually thinking about going, and why you're actually talking to real estate agents? You can actually relay it back to them that simply. And they'll go, yeah, that's fine. So you sit down and go, so tell us who's involved with the decision. So what I was going to do here is pick somebody on the screen that I don't know and just maybe go through a bit of an example of it, somebody that I know nothing about. So I know a lot of the guys here, but let's just pick, is Fiona, are you there, Fiona? Because I don't know you from a bar of soap. Are you there? Are you listening in? Are you happy to role play?
She might need to take herself off mute.
You're on.
Hey, Dawn, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Fiona. I do know who you are, but I don't know much about your
Yeah, I was
personal
going to say that
situation.
was lovely. I felt very flattered by that.
No, you know what I mean. Like a lot of
Yeah,
these
so
guys,
good.
I know who they are, I know where they live,
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what they do, and all that sort of stuff. So I just wanted to go through a real life example with somebody that I don't know all those fine details about. If that's okay, if you're happy to play along.
Yep, cool.
So just assume that you're maybe somebody that's thinking about making a move. So I'll sit down. I'll go, hey Fiona, thanks for having me over. Is it okay if we have a quick sit down over here?
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just put my bag down here. So what I'd like to do just before I have a bit of a look around is I just like to find out a little bit more about you. So, you know, who you are, what you're planning on doing, you know, where you're thinking about going, when you're actually thinking about making a move, and why. Is that okay?
Of course.
So tell me, is it now? I would have already found out if it's Fiona by herself or it's Fiona and her husband that are making a decision, or Fiona and her husband and her kids. But let's just assume at the moment. So Fiona, who's involved in the decision-making process today? Like who's involved in the family?
Yeah, so it's my husband and myself.
Okay. What's your husband's name, Fiona?
His name's Gary.
Gary. So I'd already know this stuff. So Fiona and Gary, you guys got any kids?
Yeah, we do. 2.
How old are the kids?
15 and 14.
Okay. So 17-year-olds coming up to the end of school, and I'm assuming the 14-year-old's probably hating school at the moment. Would that be about right?
Yeah, pretty much.
What year are they in at school?
11 and 10, so they're 15 and a half and 14 and a half. So
Okay.
not quite 17, but
Oh,
close
sorry,
enough.
I thought you said 17, sorry.
No, that's cool.
11 and 10. Okay, cool. And which school do they go to?
We actually homeschool, so
Okay.
yeah.
Probably the best
Pretty
school
flat.
there is, to be honest with you, with all the crazy
I
stuff
think
they
so.
teach nowadays in schools. But
Yeah, it's
how long have you
garbage.
been homeschooling them for? You've been doing that for a while? Or?
Yeah, since 2015, in fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah, huge
Cool.
school community, homeschool community in Queensland.
So with homeschooling, I'm assuming that you do get together online and things like that, like what we're doing now on the Zoom, and you sort of get together and
Absolutely.
have lessons and things.
Absolutely. Yep, definitely rely on internet. Absolutely.
You know, my wife and I, we actually had discussions because during COVID, we got to a point where we were like, look, if they're jabbing our kids, that's it, we're out. We're homeschooling kids. So lucky it didn't come to that, which is good because they go to King's Baptist School, which is a great school up the road from where we live. But tell me, why are you thinking, like, is there any particular area that you'd move to if you end up selling this place? Is there a certain place that you'd go, certain location, or?
Yeah, look, we definitely have a calling for some land, some space away from major metro. Quite open to where we go. We're fairly fluid. My husband's in construction, so he's senior management, and the projects he manages vary in terms of, locations. That's not an issue. And with the kids, with the all their stuff to do with schooling is online, and the groups that we have, well, we're fairly flexible. We all travel anyway, so they've got a great network. So we're fairly flexible, really.
And what about yourself? What do you do for work, Fiona?
Oh yeah, I work from home.
Yep.
Mm.
Are you a
Well, what do
real
I?
estate agent?
Oh, how did you know?
I just guessed now. Let's just say we've just gone through and we found out what Fiona does anyway, but you sort of get the idea. So
Yeah.
are you thinking more like a coastal move or with acreage?
No,
Or are you thinking
I think really tree change is sort of
Okay.
calling us more so.
okay?
Yeah.
So just had a bit over the suburbs, I guess. That's what I'm sort of
Yeah,
thinking.
we've been pretty blessed. We live in a metro and very handy to everything and like in a very good area,
Yep.
but just sort of craving less space. I mean less proximity to neighbours and what have you. We're
Okay.
lucky we're sort of remote from our neighbours, but we'd like to sort of not see housetops, rooftops.
Have you thought about sort of land size that you'd like to be on and things like that? Like,
Yeah.
are you looking for
Yeah,
acreage
something
or
over like just has to be over 100 acres,
okay?
definitely. Like
Do you
spring
want
fed if possible.
are you wanting to run livestock or anything like that or
Oh, look, on 100 acres, you'd probably only carry 10 head, but I think literally I'd prefer to have something that's just hobby farm size for
okay?
us, and cattle could be elsewhere.
Okay. So how long have you guys been here for? How long have you been in the house that you're in now?
Yeah, we bought about 16 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been obviously a good house. You've obviously got good neighbours if you've stayed there for 16 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was our forever home. There's been a lot of development in our neighborhood. It was a very much like a green eco corridor, koala corridor.
Okay.
So there's been quite a bit of development with like tri-level townhomes on the smaller blocks that they're pushing out.
Okay.
And we're blessed, we're sort of on a double block that backs onto a biodiversity overflow easement. So we have still got loads of privacy. You can't see into our yard in the backyard or anything from any point. But yeah, we're just sort of, keen to sort of look at things and sort of get out, you know.
Is there a lot of subdivision happening in your area, like where they're cutting up bigger, larger blocks like yours and building 3 in the street and things like that? Or
Yeah, look, I was a bit vocal. You might find this really hard to believe, but I was a little bit vocal, born, and I actually protesting against the developments.
okay.
So yeah, so we've actually got overlays with our property and the property next door. He's got 2.5 acres with a half-acre easement. So developers can't actually use any of the housing at the end of our cul-de-sac. So
Okay.
we're quite safe, from development.
Okay. So have you thought about when you'd like all this to happen? Like, is there a specific time frame that you're working with, or are you just sort of hoping for the right property coming up, or what's your
Yeah,
situation?
look, really, I think probably 3 months would be ideal.
Okay. And if you did ideally see the ideal property tomorrow, are you in a position where you can just go out and purchase that, or do you have to sell your property first?
Absolutely. No, done and dusted, sorted.
Okay, so finance is all organized.
Yes.
And what would you do with your house? Are you thinking about renting it out, or are you thinking about selling it?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, look, I think the Queensland legislation's a bit hectic around regular tenancies now. I don't think I'd like to go down that road. I'd probably go corporate rental.
okay, so either get a corporate tenant.
Yeah,
Yep. Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
All right, easy. Because what we can do is we can go through some numbers today, and I can give you an idea on what we may be able to achieve from a rental perspective. Would you
Right.
like me to give you some indication around a sales perspective as well, or are you planning on just keeping
Yeah,
it property?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm constantly badgered by the agent that we bought from, and also 2, 3 others, that are consistently sort of, every 3 months, I'm on their hit list with the, would you like to sell sort of scenario. So, yeah.
Okay. So, because obviously, if you're having it as an investment, do you owe a lot on the property? If I can ask, because
No.
obviously you
Yeah.
really want to have your investments where you owe as much as you can on your investment properties, and your principal residence is as low as possible.
Yeah, we understand that. Absolutely.
Yep. So, is there a big mortgage on the current property?
No.
Okay. There
No,
are
but
some.
we would.
Sorry?
Sorry. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say there's a few options if you speak to an accountant and a lawyer. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
understand the laws where you live, but let's say in South Australia, I understand South Australian law. So I would say, there's options where you could do a spouse-to-spouse transfer, where you can transfer the property over, increase the mortgage, and then that way the new owner, whether it's you or your husband, because it's in both names now. You can have it into just one person's name and the transfer of the legal ownership. Like I said, check this out with your accountant and your lawyer.
Yeah.
But there are ways of getting around it where you can actually increase that investment property to have a higher mortgage. You need to do it whilst you're living in the property in South Australian laws, but then you can actually increase the mortgage. You can transfer the legal ownership of the property, and then that new legal owner then has a property which owes them X amount of dollars. And then you can use that money to actually go and purchase your principal place of residence. But have a discussion with your lawyer and accountant around that to make sure you're getting all that above board, because I'm not qualified to give you that advice. It's just something that I've done in the past myself. So maybe seek a bit of advice around that. But
So
sorry,
you've got some investment properties on that basis, have you?
Yes, I do. So my wife and I lived in a property and it only owed us $200,000, and we were looking at purchasing a larger property. So we got some legal advice and advice from our accountant. We did a spouse-to-spouse transfer where we transferred the property from both of our names into just my wife's name, because together we make up 3 legal entities as a husband and wife, as an individual Bjorn Kunzel, and as an individual Anthea Kunzel. So we transferred the property over just into Anthea's name. We did a spouse-to-spouse transfer, which meant there was no stamp duty involved in my situation. And basically we increased that loan up to 80% of the value of the property. And now that property owes my wife 80% of that value, and we can actually take that for our taxable deductions to the accountant. And then we've used that money then to go purchase our own principal place of residence. But you need to seek your own advice. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer. So you need to seek your own accountant and lawyer, but that could be a possibility as well.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Access some funds.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Thanks.
So the main reason why you're actually looking at making a move is just because you're getting that point where you just want to sort of have a bit more privacy and be out in the country, more of a treescape, out of metropolitan
lifestyle.
area.
Yeah, definitely more lifestyle.
Yep,
Time to shave it back a bit, I think,
Okay, fantastic. So you can see there, guys, just by a little bit of a conversation. Thanks, Fiona. I've figured out who's involved. It's Fiona and Gary and the 2 kids, 15 and 14. They're homeschooled. I understand that the husband works in construction, so location isn't a major issue for where they're going to live. Fiona works from home as well, so the kids don't need to travel to school and whatnot. They're wanting to make a tree change. Okay, so they're looking for more space, over 100 acres on a hobby farm. They want a large block. There's lots of subdivision happening around where they're currently living. Looking at the next 3 months, so that's the when. And then just basically finding out a little bit more about the why. Now, when I have a conversation like that with Fiona, hopefully Fiona then starts to feel a little bit more, oh, this guy actually cares about my situation and cares about who I am as a human being, rather than just, g'day guys, wow, gee, are you a Crows supporter? I'm a Crows supporter too. Aren't the Crows the best? Wow, where'd you buy that jumper from? I want to get one for my wife. People are sick and tired of all that rubbish. So hopefully by having that as a starting point, as a conversational point, and by taking notes, I'm taking notes on the back of a sales agency agreement, which I print out, because hopefully Fiona's feeling, and actually Bjorn wants to find out who I am. He's actually caring a bit more about who I am as an individual and as a person, to then find a solution to Fiona's situation, because every situation is different. And then I'll have a bit of a walk around, a bit of a look around. I'll say, so have you ever sold a property before? Have you ever sold before, Fiona?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Okay, how many times have you sold property before?
For us personally, I've sold 4, and in terms of, and do you mean for our self-managed super fund as well, or?
Yeah, just in general, any property that you own, yeah.
Probably we've gone through about 12.
Okay, so you're a seasoned seller and a seasoned buyer, is what I
kind of have fun with it.
Have you always leaned towards a particular method of sale? Like, have you thought about how you want to go about selling the property if you were to sell it?
It's always intuitive, I think. I think properties speak to you. Like, I mean, I love property, and I think it's very intuitive. I don't really have a method. And when I'm looking for something, I know I generally tend to know what it is that I'm seeking. And I'm blessed that I can sort of see things, I can picture it very easily. So yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're pretty much open to suggestions?
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's just assume at this point in the conversation, because if I go down the rental side of things, it sort of steers us off track of what we're doing here. So let's just assume, Fiona, that we've had a discussion around things, and you've said, actually, we think we probably really want to sell it, to be honest, because maybe you're putting up a smoke screen at the beginning about, I don't trust this guy yet. I'm not going to tell him we're definitely selling. So let's just say we've ironed all that out, because I mean, an appraisal is like a half an hour, 45-minute process. It's like a 5-minute process. So let's just assume that Fiona's decided, well, look, to be honest with you, Bjorn, we are actually planning on selling it, right? So Fiona, would you prefer to get into your new property first and then sell this secondary, or would you prefer to have this
Yeah.
done
No, you
first?
know what, Bjorn, I thank you for asking me that. I really think I can't stand the idea of people pouring through things. I'd rather probably vacate here and then, move everything out, have it staged and no personal effects and no personal influence.
Okay, I think that's very smart. You said one thing that was just very, very smart in regards to getting the best possible price: move out, vacate, depersonalize, and stage. We just
Yeah,
had a
absolutely.
property on the weekend, which we did an off-market campaign for because the vendors wanted us to see what buyers' feedback was. It was at 51 Henderson Avenue, Paraka. We brought through some buyers, and the highest feedback we got was 550. Kept on getting feedback that the paint needed to be done, the flooring needed to be done, the carpets needed to be replaced. It needed some
Yeah.
works outside, and there was just a few little bits and pieces. So I said to the vendor, stop, we're not selling for this. It's worth a lot more. We stopped, we vacated, exactly what you're thinking about doing. And then basically we staged the property, we got it painted, we invested $30,000 and we just sold
Yeah.
it at auction on the weekend for $735,000, which is an actual $185,000 difference.
Uplift, great.
So $185,000 uplift. So we just transformed $30,000 into $185,000. So I can tell by talking to you that you actually know what you're talking about. And that's important because obviously my job is to get you the best results,
But I appreciate that, but like I'm Struggle Street, I'm carrying 3 mortgages. Like I can't afford to throw 30 grand at this. And I don't think it needs it. I mean, people, yeah, they'll come in and they'll envisage, a remodel of the kitchen or whatever. It's entirely serviceable now. So what would you suggest?
Well,
I
I think
really don't want to go into another additional major outlay. I don't think it needs it. But
well,
tell me, what do you think?
neat, tidy, and clean,
Yep,
depersonalized and decluttered
Yep.
is what sells. So as long as
Yeah,
we don't
cool.
have any issues, like as long as we don't have any marks
No,
and paintwork and stains on
no.
carpets and things like that, we should
No,
be fine.
it's good. It's fine.
And staging the property is a good idea as well. Now we've actually got a company called Realty Assist. So if I have a look around, I do think that there's anything that will maybe deter a buyer. I'll be honest about it and let you know if that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
cool.
then there is a company that can actually fund you up to $30,000 without you needing to pay anything up front. You can take it all out of the
Really?
settlement of the property. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And they can also cover all the marketing costs up front as well. So to do that, there'll be a small additional fee, but the additional fee, for example, a $4,000 marketing campaign, they take around $200 at the end. So let's say if we did need to spend $5,000 on touching some things up, you might end up paying an extra $500 at the end of settlement without walk it out up front. So is that something that might be of interest if there were?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. That could actually work. That could mean the floors could get sanded fresh and, freshly polished. I've actually got a guy that can do that, so that's great. That might be the way to go.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have a bit of a look around and I'll take some notes about anything like that I think is suitable to maybe consider doing. But just understand that we do have systems in place at EXP where you can actually pay everything at the end for a small additional fee and we'll cover all the upfront expenses and it's very easy, very quick. You can have the money in your bank account by the next day. So
that's amazing. I've never had that before. I've always had to sort of be market ready before I sort of went to list. And this is why I ended up just selling them myself, when I'd do it myself,
Yeah. Well, I mean, anyone can put a signboard at the front of a property, take photos, put a property online. The thing that you're really paying an agent for is their negotiation skills, Fiona. You're not paying us to stand at the front and hand out brochures, although a lot of agents do that. You're paying for negotiations because I've got 16 years in the business and I could show you, lots of videos on my YouTube channel of testimonials from happy clients. Just because over 16 years of selling properties every single day, I sell probably about 50 to 80 odd a year. You do learn little things and you learn from your mistakes. And I've made lots of mistakes in the past. And now I think I've got it pretty down pat. So we'll go through all of that and we'll come up with maybe a strategy that works best for you as well. And with myself as well, I give you a risk reversal clause, Fiona. So I don't think that it's right when a home seller wants to sell and they go to a real estate agent and a real estate agent sits there and tells them how great they are for half an hour to try to business and then charges them $4,000 or $5,000 up front before they've even proven themselves.
Yes.
So I've got a no sale, no charge that I do for my clients. So I put my money where my mouth is and I've got a risk-free reversal guarantee. So you're not locked into me for any period of time. Now, of course, if you've conducted, some works, you need to pay those tradespeople. And if you've conducted some marketing, those expenses would need to be paid. But if you're unsatisfied with anything I do at any time, you can just sack me whenever you want. I don't lock you in for 90 days.
Really?
Because,
That's unusual.
well, if you get, let's say your plumbing stuff's up, Fiona, do you wire the plumber over the phone $4,000, and then once he fixes your toilet, you give him another $4,000, or does he do the job and then you pay him at the end?
Yeah. Well, I've got great planners, but yeah, definitely the
But
latter.
you pay them at the end, yeah? You don't pay them
Yeah,
up
of
front.
course.
So
No.
why is real estate different? And why does real estate agents lock you in for 90 days? It doesn't make any sense. So
Well, Bjorn, where have you been all my life?
I've been in Adelaide, South Australia. But see what I mean? So it's just a conversation. And
Yeah.
before we've even looked around or talked business, we're just talking conversational. Now, hopefully, Fiona, you can get the feeling of that. Does it feel like I actually care about who you are and who Fiona is?
Yeah,
And what Fiona
definitely
provides
going
me?
into layered conversation. I think, and I mean, I do that organically anyway. And I think most people do, don't they?
Well,
Most of
some
us
people don't.
do. The ones that care, we don't just see people as a dollar sign walking above their head, you
Exactly.
know?
Look, I think 5% of the industry, maybe 10% of the industry, end of role play, by the way, guys. I think
Oh,
5 to 10% of the industry don't, but I can tell you when we go into appraisals and they've had Harcourts, Ray White, Harris, LJ Hooker, whatever they go to
yeah,
me, this is completely different to all the other guys. And
yeah.
I'm like, what did the other guys do? Oh, they had a spreadsheet and they had slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4, slide 5.
Yeah,
So I've just found that taking things to a conversational point of view and forgetting about the dollarary reward at the end of it and going through these 5 W's just gives you a roadmap. Like I want to
yeah.
find out who Fiona is. I know that now. I want to find out what Fiona wants to do. I know that now. I want to find out where Fiona wants to go. I know that now. I want to
Yeah.
find out when Fiona wants to do what she wants to do. I know that now. And I want to know why she wants to do what she can do. Because once you know who, what, when, where, why, then you can become the how. Then you can become the expert that shows them how. And once you delve into all of those 5 categories, I think the clients just open up a lot more and they understand that you do actually care and that it's not about dollars and cents, but it's about them. And this method, with no distractions of fancy flashy bits of paper or fancy flashy pre-listing kits or pre-marketing or anything like that, it just really connects to the people, and people do business, I find,
With
people they
people.
like.
Yeah, that's it. I've got to
People
be
they like.
honest, like with EXP, with joining EXP, like I didn't even have a website or business cards. I've worked word of mouth referral for like 7 years now entirely, you know. So for me, when they said, get your testimony, I'm like, oh my God, guys,
But see, that's
scramble.
the thing. Like having a conversation with someone is $0 cost.
Yeah,
Caring about someone genuinely is a $0 cost to you.
that's
Helping
right.
somebody is a $0 cost, right? Everyone
Yeah.
in real estate, though, gets blindsided by, latest digital AI reports to get you more business and, spend $5,000 on Facebook and get $4,000 for this and do this and spend money. And that's just all the distractions. That's just all the bullshit for the people that are trying to make money by hustling us real estate agents to sell us product. Now, some of it is useful, I'll admit, but a lot of it isn't necessary. Like a conversation, if you can gain trust with somebody through having a conversation based around their circumstances and provide them with a
100%.
solution, you stop becoming a salesperson and you start becoming an advisor. And
You're the problem solver. You are the one who resolves the issues for them, and that's key, and that you have to listen. Like the whole 2 eyes, 1 mouth. I've still got to practice that, I have to admit, but don't let my husband hear. But it's that whole, you've got to be genuine with it. You can't just go, I'm just going to put this hat on and I'll sound like this and be this way for the sake of securing this, lead and turning it into a client. It's got to be genuine.
When I first started doing this, it was probably 2 years into my career. And for the first 2 years of my career, all I thought about was money and how to make money and where do I get money from and how do I succeed. And it was all just about me. And I went to a seminar and somebody said to me, they said, I want you to imagine that you're a billionaire and that you don't need a single dollar from anybody, but you just love doing what you're doing. What would your conversations be like then? If you don't need the business, you're not trying to hunt for the business, you're not trying to get the business, all you're trying to do is help them solve their problem. What would the conversation be like if you did that? And as soon as I got rid of all the distraction, it just took off and my figures doubled. And then I introduced video content into my business. And, hey guys, I'm Bjorn Kunzel. I'm standing at the front of XYZ Street. Let's go take a look around. Hey, sellers tip, buyers tips, all that sort of stuff. And my business doubled again. So
Yeah.
I don't actually count my commissions on the board. I don't know how much I've got coming in this week, how much is coming in next week, how much. I don't even count money or look at money. I just look
Yeah.
at people for people and how I can help the people that are in front of me and try to provide solutions to their problems. And as a result of that, you just end up becoming rewarded, because everything in life is solving somebody's problem. We go to the supermarket because we're hungry, we need food. We go to the tire shop because our car needs tires, otherwise our car's going to break down. We get our
Yeah.
car serviced because it needs to be serviced to keep it running, you know?
Yeah.
So everything is a problem that requires a solution. But a lot of real estate agents will go into the lounge room, they're like, hi, thanks for inviting me in. Look, you've got the best team here. We've been #1 in South Australia for the
Oh,
last
yeah.
blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. They don't care about any of it.
Yeah, no, just ego.
You know, so that's it, guys. It's really simple. The 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why. It's just a roadmap to help you start a conversation with a client first before you get into any tours, anything like that. And Michael Sheargold taught me to sit down with the client first. Say, look, is it okay if I put my bag down, and walk to the dining table? Because they're not going to say, no, you can't put your bag down, right? Is it okay if I just put my bag down over here? And then you put your bag down and go, actually, can we just have a quick chat? And then you just sit down and they'll just follow you, right? And what you're doing actually there as well is you're leading. So you're showing some confidence. They're following, so they're sitting down with you. And then you just go, I just want to find out a bit more about who you are, what you're planning on doing, you know, when you're thinking about making a move, where you're planning on going and why, if that's okay. Because once I understand your situation, I'll be able to help you provide the best solution. Is that okay? So tell me, who's involved? It's so easy, guys. It's such an easy roadmap to help people that may not be naturally fantastic with people, or may not necessarily have rapport building come naturally to them, to just follow this roadmap. Who? Okay, what's next after who? What? And you can actually literally tell them that that's what you want to do. And it does transform the appraisal side of things. It transforms the business. You can do it with buyers. You can do it with investors, sellers, developers. You can do it with somebody that's standing next to you in the line when you're at a fair. What brings you guys here? You guys been here before? How often, you know, it's just a general rapport building exercise. And once you've got rapport with somebody, they open up, they let down their guard, they start to like you, they start to trust you. And then once they know that you're competent, that's the last piece of the puzzle to then get the deal done. So that's basically it, guys. It's pretty simple, but hopefully you've got some value from that. And hopefully the role play with Fiona, thanks for your time, Fiona, has been useful as well.
Very good, Bjorn. Very good. And for those that I know you think it's a simple concept, Bjorn, but what we'll do is, if you do have questions, Bjorn's always happy to take a call and explain anything that you need to know from there. Anything else you want to share, Bjorn?
Just reading this one. Just be yourself, guys. Like, everybody's different. The one thing that will take business away from you is fakeness. So if you genuinely care about people and you're just yourself, not everyone's the same. There's multiple different personality types. If you're very analytical, be the analytical person. If you're very emotional, be the emotional person. Just be yourself, because there's one thing that people don't like and that they can smell a mile away, and that's fake. So just be yourself, find your own groove, find your own rhythm, but just understand that we're dealing with other people, and it's not about the house. It's not about the bricks and mortar. It's not about the dollars and cents. It's about where they are in life and where they want to be in life. And there's a lot of confusion. So all we're there to do is to get them from point A to point Z and make everything in between easy. That's it. That's all they want.
Yeah. Well done. Well said, Bjorn. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on this IVA Conversations. We hope you have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you next time.